What's up, Reapers? My name's Seth, and we are back in some more Trove Geode, and today we're going to be taking a look at all of the new Geode Mounts. So all of this stuff is going to end up being available June 26th. I'm recording this on the test server so that we can end up getting all of these mounts and stuff like that, and blah, 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 blah. But there's going to be this new profession table, the crystallogy table, right? And as you end up progressing through this to some of the later tiers, like crystallologist or whatever right here, which is going to be at 200, you're going to be able to craft all these mounts. Now, these mounts are not going to be tradable. And the crystals themselves, like the crafting components right here, this is just temporary while we're on the test server so that we can get a look at all of these guys. Not to mention they want us to be able to craft them over and over again so that we could have ended up maxing out the profession, because otherwise it was just these two tomes before, right? So we're going to take a quick look at all these guys and might end up having to do an updated video on this when it ends up going to the live server, just because, you know, the crafting components are going to end up being very different, but I'll probably end up making that video particularly short. So there's going to be this guy right here, and he's going to end up rolling around, and it's got two separate lines of video effects going for each side, actually, which is kind of interesting, but you can't really see it. Where the right side is going to end up being kind of a more blue dust, and then the other side is going to end up being the purple, right? So it's kind of cool that it does that. I guess I should show you guys all of the mastery that you're going to end up getting from this, though. I know that my face cam kind of blocks it, but for all of them, you're going to end up getting 50 normal mastery and then 50 to your geode mastery, except for way down at the bottom, the last two are going to give you 100 of each. So that's kind of cool that they ended up doing that for us, that we end up getting some normal mastery from it, because geode mastery, honestly, who cares? And then there's going to be this guy right here, which is a disgusting llama. Like, seriously, it's really, really strange, these creatures. It's kind of cool that they ended up bothering making all of this really weird, unique stuff. But when you look at these characters, it's like, dude, I want a costume like that. I want a class like that. I want, you know, a mount that's in theme with that or whatever, right? But then we get to see like the companions and the little critters and stuff like that. And those guys look really, really weird and alien. So that's kind of where I guess they were trying to hold a theme with a lot of the mounts and stuff that you end up getting. And you can kind of just see, like, it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of neat. And I like the video effects on this llama as well. He can also do the swag llama dance. We got quite a bit of movement speed with it, though, unfortunately. But anyways, there's going to also be this one right here, which this guy I like, because he's kind of like a weird beetle dragon thing, and it's kind of neat that this guy is going to actually have the functionality of being able to be used as a boat. So obviously it's just going to end up being a platypus reskin, but I do like the fact that they ended up going a little bit of an extra mile with this, and they ended up shading all of these mounts, because you don't really see that very often when the developers end up adding things into the game. Usually it's just going to end up being something very quick and just, oh, that's all there is to it, right? But it still is pretty cool. I do like this little guy right here, and then there's going to end up being this one right here, which is absolutely disgusting. This feels like it belongs in Spore, and although it's weird, and I kind of like the fact that it's such like an obscure mount, the fact that it's in the game is very strange, and the way it animates is absolutely disgusting, because I'm pretty sure it's like a raptor reskin, but they made it so that it doesn't take like all of the moving components, or maybe it's not raptor because its tail is actually animating uniquely as well. But either way, the way it just feels very, very stiff as far as like a mount is concerned, you know, like it's kind of disgusting. But it, you know, not to mention it's got this weird fat chin, and it's like, what's it gonna do, like burp on me? And then of course we got a different reskin of the exact same thing, but this one's for some reason got like video effects coming off of its feet that's more like beautiful, legendary type of stuff that doesn't really feel that appropriate for it. But we got a nice little purple glow to it, you know, and generally the video effects are gonna end up being kind of neat. It's kind of cool, but again, not really my favorite one. And then we got another reskin of it, because why not just end up, you know, going into a paint program and just slightly changing them all? Like, seriously, dude. But I guess it is always cool to have different colored alternatives. Personally, I remember a long time ago when I started playing Trove, and I was just thinking, like, with a lot of the costumes and with a lot of the mounts and stuff like that, I always thought that it was so lame that so many things are just a reskin and like different colors variations, when if we ended up having like paint tools where we could end up choosing like maybe 3 or 4 different colors on our mounts and even on our costumes, like half of the stuff in Trove would end up just becoming useless, wouldn't it? You know, like it just, I don't know, what can I say? It's just like, that's just what I think anyways. But then we got this guy right here. So this is going to be a pretty neat spider. It doesn't really work very well though, because of course normally the spiders end up having a little bit more legs, so obviously this thing animates a little bit strangely. But I do like the fact that it kind of feels like an alien spider. You know, it does feel very Zerg-like, I guess I would say, which is from StarCraft. It's still neat, but again, like the fact that it only has like these amount of legs is a little bit gross. Like I wish that it actually had a couple extra legs so that it wouldn't animate so strangely. But that's just me. You know, some people out there I'm sure are gonna like it, and don't worry, there's a couple more reskins of it. So this one's gonna kind of be a more radiant theme one, which you can see kind of ends up going with the costume that we're rocking right here. We got a lot of space on the back though, so we can see a lot of our character. And not to mention our character is actually just sitting on it rather than actually like riding it. Maybe you do that with all the spiders, but I never noticed because it never, you know, all the legs and stuff. I do like the fact that it's only got a couple legs. It just feels like it could be using a little bit more, or at least the animation should be toned down a bit or something like that. I don't know. And then we got another one here, which again is going to end up being kind of these more neon colors. Either these creatures belong in Spore, or it's like, you know, or it's like they belong in No Man's Sky, you know, like they're just so strange. Like I don't know, it's just they're cool in that they really don't belong with anything else in the game. Like it's funny how everything, including like all of these mounts and stuff like that, they don't fit with the game at all, just like this entire update doesn't fit with the game at all. It's something completely separate. The costumes, however, end up fitting very well with the core game, but that's just because those are all modded, and then these are all going to end up being things that the developers made themselves. So we got a slightly different neon spider. And, you know, I'm not really trying to highlight the costumes that we're rocking right here. I've got a separate video that's showing off all the costumes and stuff, so you can check that out. Links will be in the description if you want to see like all the video effects and stuff like that, because right now we're just highlighting the mounts. And yeah, you know, again, like a whole bunch of spider reskins, which is kind of gross. And then we got these guys right here, which is going to be the end tier. These are the big baddies that you can end up getting, which most likely are going to end up costing an awful lot. Especially considering that they're lazily, very, very lazily. Like let's swap over on my Lancer here, just because this is the character that I have it on. Primordial Dragon. There we go. So we got this guy right here, which you can see our breath is a little bit different, and we got the bubbles hovering around us and everything like that. But you can kind of see like the way it animates and everything like that. This Primordial Dragon is, you know, Serpent Dragon, right? And now we've got these guys, which use the exact same bubble video effects coming around our character. Different bubbles coming out of its mouth, but that's pretty much it, dude. Like it's a little bit disgusting that they just ended up doing that. You know, this thing also is going to have the exact same animation and is going to end up actually being a gliding mount, which I don't know if I like that. You know, like I don't like it. It's not that I don't like the mount, it's the fact that, well, I actually don't, it's not really my favorite. I don't like the fact that so many things are taking away from the primordial dragons. You know, like it's just like they're becoming less and less useful. The fire dragon's pretty much the only one that you actually need right now. Outside of, I guess I guess you could end up using the water dragon because it's got more block destruction to it. But there's going to end up being another one of these guys. Don't worry, you can have a red one. If you didn't like the blue one, do you like the red one? This one's actually probably my least favorite, just because the way that it looks in its color palette. But you can kind of see, like, one thing that I do think is kind of interesting is that these guys have, like, transparent blocks, and you can kind of see, like, their skeleton on the inside or something. The weird thing, too, is that none of these mounts or creatures or anything, you don't see any of them while you're in the caves. You know, like, that would be kind of cool. If you could actually see these enemies and then you could actually end up getting them as mounts, I think that would be really neat. But the fact that it's something separated where, again, you're just going to end up just crafting them outright, and it's like, you know, do you actually go for these guys because they're cool, or are you getting them for the mastery? So I don't know. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. If you have an opinion on it, which one of these mounts is your favorite? Is it your favorite mount of all time? Or honestly speaking, do you just not like any of these? You know, for myself personally, again, I think that they're cool, but I don't really feel like they're necessary. It's like the only reason you're going to end up getting them is for the Geode Mastery, or just for normal Mastery if you want to skip over the whole Geode update in general. That at least these guys are going to end up giving you normal Mastery, and a lot more than the companions end up giving you, like Jiminy Crockett. Those things are ridiculous. But anyways, folks, I guess that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you ended up enjoying the video anyways. All of these mounts are going to be craftable at the table when it ends up going live June 26th. Again, the crafting components are going to end up being different. So we'll just have to see what happens when it ends up going on the live server. But until then, thanks for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. And if you want to support me, you can always sponsor my YouTube channel or check links in the description for my merch store, where you can buy this shirt and a bunch of other stuff, as well as Gawkbox, which is a way you can donate to me for free through sponsored donations. Sign on and stay epic, everybody.